Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a KMN 1971, finally back with a long overdue comic book haul. It's been about over a month, but sometimes life throws you a curveball, or in my case, a couple of curveballs. A couple of weeks ago, I was driving home from work after a long 12-hour day after being stuck in traffic about 10 miles away from my house, and a deer, or rather a buck, a big antlered buck, just strolled out onto the highway, and I hit that thing doing about 60, 65. Lucky to be alive. But no damage to me, but unfortunately my car was totaled. The following week, my mother, who is 65, 66 years, actually 66 years old, came down with bilateral bacterial pneumonia, which is not good for senior citizens. So rode both those storms out. My mom's fine now, thankfully, and my car well, I have a rental car right now, and hopefully my insurance company will stop jerking me around and give me a good value for my car. I only had it for about 6 months. So luckily, I have a hobby that distracts me from such drama-filled aspects of life. So I didn't really start getting some comics until about 2 weeks ago. I had probably about half a haul before all that madness started, and the last couple of weeks I finally just got back on the horse and got out there and started collecting again. So without further ado, let's get on with the haul. So as usual, I'll start off with a couple of picks from my regular pull list, some highlights, and into some back issues. So kicking it off this week, Doomsday Clock just came out this week. Love this lenticular cover, man. I don't know if it'll come up on, there we go. That is cool. Marvel, pay attention. That's how a lenticular cover should work. But very cool. Great story. No surprise, Jeff Johns is a master. Gary Frank is a master. Really looking forward to seeing where this is going. Another DC event that I am definitely all in on. Dark Knights. While there is no Dark Knights number 4 out this month, there have been plenty of one-shots and tie-ins. I ended up picking up this Batman Who Laughs, of course, tie-in. Great character. There's rumors that he might be sticking around after this event goes through. So we'll see. I just think it's funny because, a little side note, Marvel for the past couple of years now has just been meshing characters. Captain America and Falcon, Gwenpool, Gwenom, Spider-Gwen, Weapon H. So it seems like DC is taking the note, and they're like, all right, we'll do a couple of character mashups. We'll mash up our characters with, I don't know, our most popular property. We'll mix everyone with Batman and see what happens. So just a fun storyline. Between this and Doomsday Clock, I am all in. DC is just killing it story-wise. Speaking of killing it, Art Germ has been killing it on these Supergirl covers. I guess there's only one more left to go, which is sad, but great run of covers right here. Another great cover, Batman number 35. Tony Daniel, one of the workhorses of DC Comics, one of the better artists that they have on their roster. But love this cover, representing 800 issues of Batman. I kind of wish they would have did something special for it. Maybe make it double size or something like that. But very cool. And as I said over and over again, this is my favorite ongoing title on the stands right now. And finally, this was a freebie. Justice League Day for one of my local comic book shops. Love that Andy Kubert cover, and it's just a reprint of Justice League number 1. But let's get this this 2-ton elephant out of the room. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the Justice League movie or you just don't care, just fast forward until you don't see this comic on your screen any longer. Alright, ready? Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. I love this movie. I really liked it. Was it perfect? Definitely not. But hardly any movies are. That's why the movies that do seem perfect really stick out. But as far as superhero movies go, this would probably be my second favorite superhero movie of this year, only behind Logan. And I think that's saying a lot because I think this year was pretty much the best year as far as superhero movies are concerned. There were no real stinkers involved whatsoever. So some of the things that I loved about this movie. I loved the characters. I loved seeing them interact on the big screen for the very first time. Loved the action sequences, the special effects. Some of the criticisms towards Steppenwolf were, yes, he is a CGI bad guy, but I consider him a step up from the CGI bad guy in Suicide Squad. I definitely consider him a step up from Doomsday and Ares and Batman vs. Superman and the Wonder Woman movies. So, while not perfect, the technology still isn't quite there yet for those bad guys. So, with that said, I loved the interaction between the characters. I loved when they resurrected Superman, the throwdown between him and the League. I thought the scene with Steppenwolf on with the Amazons was incredible. I love the flashback scene. There was a lot I liked about the movie. I've seen it twice now. My cousin came up for the holidays. He only comes up once a year, and my brother and I took him to go see the movie. He also saw it who also saw it for the second time. So, and it takes a lot for me to go out to the movies twice. So, while I guess it's not the financial boon that Warner Brothers hoped, I really hope that they don't pull the plug on the franchise. I don't think they will. I think this movie will continue to make money, and enough money to constitute the DCEU going on and forward, because I think it's in a good place. I don't understand the critics' disconnect with this movie. I can't see how the same critics that touted Thor Ragnarok as a masterpiece and the greatest Marvel movie ever, which I really don't believe on either of those points. I thought Thor Ragnarok was a fun movie, but that was about it. It was just one of those things. And yeah, I guess it's just a matter of opinion. But I like Justice League, and I guess I'm not alone. If you do a little research, it gets a B+ cinema score. 83% of the viewers on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience approve of this movie, and it gets like an 89% approval rating on, or 88% approval rating from Google users. So a lot of us do really like this movie. So, as always, don't pay attention to critics. Pay attention to your friends, and just watch it if you like it. Don't let someone else decide it for you. All right, off the soapbox and back onto the haul. So these next couple are all from the dollar bin. So Nova number 1, which I thought was a cool dollar bin pickup. Nova number 6, which just has a Killer Gamora cover. And Nova number 8, which is the first appearance of Cosmo. And I am a first appearance hoarder, so I love picking up these minor first appearances, especially in dollar bins. Speaking of which, Superboy number 9, and this is the first appearance of King Shark, which I don't know if there's... I mean, I know this book was going around and around on YouTube about a year or so ago, but now that King Shark has not appeared in the Suicide Squad movies, I think this book is no longer in demand. But for $1, I'll pick up the first appearance of King Shark. Finally got a New Mutants number 39 with the Art Adams Emma Frost cover. And Red Sonja number 2. And number 3. Not necessarily on my list, but I guess Red Sonja has a movie coming out, or they're going to be rebooting the franchise. I'm not really sure. But I already had number 1. And number 2 and number 3 in fine plus to very fine minus condition in dollar bins. I love buying Bronze Age stuff for $1, so couldn't turn it away. Alright, right here is one of my all-time favorite Michael Turner covers. Just take all of that in. That is beautiful. Flash number 207. Always wanted this, but this was one of those that flew off the shelves when it first came out. This is when Jeff Johns was just about at superstar status, and people were just starting to jump onto anything that he was writing. So, but beautiful Michael Turner cover. Flash 209, another Michael Turner cover. Superman versus the Flash, The Race is On, with a cover drawn by Michael Turner. Hello. That needs to be in my PC. Some more stuff just from the long boxes. Regular long box. stuff. Superman and Batman versus Aliens and Predator, number 2. I really enjoyed number 1, and this was a tough little miniseries for me to hunt down. Doesn't go for really anything either, but good stuff. Love those cross-company crossovers. Legionnaires, number 7. Another really cheap book, but an Adam Hughes cover. And as you can see here, the interiors are also done by Adam Hughes. So, being a Legion fan and an Adam Hughes fan, had to have it. Especially dirt cheap. Fantastic Four from, what is this, Volume 3, number 54, or number 483, whichever. And this is the first appearance, I want to say, outside of the womb, of Valeria Richards. Is that her name, Valeria? Or is it Valerie? I'm not sure. I think it's Valeria. So, yeah, there you go. Whoops. Ultimate Fantastic Four, number 22, which I guess is supposed to be the first full appearance of the Marvel Zombies. And I already had issue 21, both copies, both versions rather. And I always thought that was the first appearance of Marvel Zombies, but I guess that's just a cameo appearance, and this is the first full-blown appearance of Marvel Zombies. So, and this was another one of those modern age storylines that fell through the cracks that I didn't buy when it originally came out. So, happy to pick these up pretty cheap too. So, number 22 and number 23 to finish off the storyline. Another one of those Ultimate Comics greatest hits that I never picked up when it initially came out. Ultimates number 5, or The Ultimates number 5 rather, which featured the throwdown between the Hulk and the Ultimates. And this book was a super hot book when it first came out. I just picked it up for like $3 this week. So very happy to pick it up, and I can't wait to read it. Little Bronze Age goodness. The Savage Submariner, number 69, has some kind of like stamp up here. But fine plus condition, probably only $5. Submariner versus Spider-Man. The throwdown doesn't really live up to what the cover advertises, but still pretty good. Alright, now getting into some of the better stuff. So like I said, I was kind of like not collecting for like 2 weeks straight. And when I first went back in, one of my local comic book shops was having a sale, 60% off Rat Comics. And I could not believe this was there. So for like $1.60, $1.80, I picked up Teen Titans number 12, the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. Now, I already have the other version of this, which I thought was the A cover that had the whole Gotham Underground on the cover. But I guess this is the A cover, and I want to say it's probably going for a little bit more because it actually features the Batman Who Laughs on the cover. So for $1.60, I could not pick these up. I'm not usually a comic book hoarder, but I do love first appearances, and seeing that my car was wrecked, hey, maybe I will actually go on eBay and try to sell a couple of these. So I ended up picking up 1 copy, 2 copies, and 3. So I'll probably keep one of these along with my B cover so I can have a complete set and sell 2 of these on eBay. I could have probably picked up like 7 of them, but I didn't want to just hog them all up. I felt guilty about it. And when the comic book the guy that works at the LCS, he even asked me, he's like, do you know that you bought, why are you buying like 3 copies of this? And I was surprised someone working at an LCS didn't know about this. So I didn't want to lie to the guy, so I told him, I'm like, these are going for like $25, $30 online. I went back the next week, and they were all gone off the rack, of course. So, hey, at least I got what I wanted, so that's pretty cool. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, like, I'm a little guilty for picking up 3 copies, and I'm also a little guilty for not picking them all up. Just conflicted. Another weird first appearance that I always wanted. Weird War Tales number 93, featuring the first appearance of the Creature Commandos. And I thought this was like a fine plus copy. This is only a fine minus copy. Definitely overpaid for it. After one of those deals that you can't really tell until you get out of the bag. So, still happy, and I don't know if this is a placeholder or not. I'm not really crazy about these characters. It was just one of those first appearances that I wanted off my list. And it does feature a killer Joe Kubert cover. The Mighty Isis, #1. Really high-grade copy, probably very fine plus to near minus. And, yeah, ISIS. Not the bitch-ass terrorist organization, but the heroine that's part of the Shazam family, or Shazam franchise. And you never know if she makes her big screen debut. I already have her first appearance in Shazam, so I thought this would complement it nice. And it was only $10, so... The Eternals, #1. Another Marvel Bronze Age premiere issue. Love those things. And Jack Kirby artwork, and the first appearance of the Eternals. I already had #2, so went to the same shop, and they actually had #1 for $5. So picked it up, gave it a home. Giant Size Defenders, #3, which features the first appearance of Korvac, who you never know, one of those Marvel cosmic villains. And it's also the first time that Daredevil ever teams up with the Defenders. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I really dig these old school Marvel giant size annuals, especially if they actually have original content in them. And this one definitely does. Adventure into Fear with The Man Called Morbius, the living vampire. Cool cover. I haven't read this comic yet, but I know that it features interior artwork from one of my favorite Bronze Age artists, Paul Galassi. So I'm looking forward to cracking this bad boy open. Another reason I picked it up, I guess Morbius will be having a solo movie underneath the Spider-Man franchise umbrella from Sony. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but hey, who knows? So for that reason alone, I figured it was worth picking up the first Morbius solo story. Alright. I don't really like showing beat up comics, but this comic is beat up, as you can see. Let's get it in there. Big crease right there, some folding and chipping. Ugh. But so I'd say VG to VG minus, maybe. But staples it's totally attached, complete. Pages are nice. The worst part about it is the cover, especially on that, the right-hand side of the cover. But this is Teen Titans #1 from Volume 1 from the 1960s. I forget the exact date. But for $20, I could not pass this up. Excuse me. I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. And this has been on my list for a while. Definitely a placeholder, because I need at least a fine copy of this to make me happy. But for now, for $20, Teen Titans #1, had to have it. Very psyched about this book. This is Jim Lee Wildcats, a gold version, and it also features an autograph from the man himself, Jim Lee. Comes with a little certificate of authenticity. So, I had no idea about this book. None whatsoever. And picked it up at one of my LCSs yesterday. And I ended up looking it up on eBay. And I guess there's a version of, there's a gold version that's not signed also that goes for a significant amount less. But I was really happy to pick this up. For $20, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pick this up for $20. But it goes for a lot more than $20. And I didn't even realize, because it was kind of dark in the shop, that it had Jim Lee's signature. I would have definitely picked it up for $20 if I would have realized it had Jim Lee's signature. So a very nice surprise. For someone that doesn't really do SIGs, I now have a Stan Lee signature, a Neil Adams signature, and a Jim Lee signature. So, someone that has just kind of gotten into that as of last year a little bit. There is a small list of artists and writers that I would love to have their signature on some comics, But Jim Lee is pretty much at the top of that list. Definitely top 5. My favorite artist of all time. So very, very happy to pick this up. And last, and definitely not least, my pick of the haul. Amazing Spider-Man number 121. Iconic, classic cover. I know that's cliche around here to say that, but in the case of this comic, I don't think anyone would argue that fact. I mean, look at that cover. How many times has it been homaged? As we all know, this is the death of Gwen Stacy, and I have wanted this book for years. I mean, when I went into my comic book shop, the one that I've been buying that collection, nipping away at that collection for the past year or so, and I guess the guy sold them a couple of more books, a couple of more high-end books, and this was one of them. I paid $120 for this. Has a little bit of staining in the bottom right-hand corner, as you can see right here, but no creases, no chips, firmly attached. I would say this is a fine plus to very fine minus copy. And I'm being conservative about it, but very, very, very happy to have this. This is just one of those, I don't know, classic Spider-Man stories that you just have to have in your collection as a serious collector. And this, along with the first appearance of Hobgoblin, Black Cat, Venom, and of course my Spider-Man number 1 that's signed by Stan Lee, I think this kind of legitimizes my Spider-Man collection in my PC. So, very happy to pick it up. So, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Happy belated Thanksgiving, by the way. And I guess there's one thing that I've learned after hitting a deer and my mom getting sick is just don't take life for granted. Love it. Enjoy it as much as you can with the people that you enjoy life with as much as you can. So I will be back. I'm going to try to get back to shooting weekly videos again. I'll have a couple of more comic book collection spotlight videos. One focusing in on Bargain Basement first appearances and spec books. And I have another one that I've been working on for my top 10 Justice League stories. Seeing I've just been very motivated from seeing the Justice League movie. I'll also have probably one more small haul to end off the year, and definitely another video basically summarizing 2017, my top 10 to 25 picks, what I've thought of the movie industry, the comic book industry, kind of like I did last year. Show off my pull list and see how it differs from the year before. So, yeah, a lot of stuff upcoming on this channel if you're all interested in it. So, thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing as always, and take care out there. See ya.